Hi. I thought maybe we could talk about growing conditions and what we actually grow in. We can let you know. I can just give you a little bit of a tour here. Anyway, we've got these rows here that we had last year, and we will redo them shortly. It's a really busy time of year right now. You can see that Andrew has put in the wood chips. Remember I talked about the wood chips. They really keep away a lot of weed. They keep the weeds down, and they do more than that. They actually keep the water. They keep the water in, so you don't have to water as often, which is really nice if you can't get water to the place where you're putting your plants. Anyway, we also have this plastic mulch here. You can see it. And we just basically put a hole in the, see, we have a line here, and that's just a drip line, and that will water our plants. And actually you can see from last year, I left this. This is Brussels sprouts actually, and honestly, I didn't have time. I just left it, and you can see that it is producing some Brussels sprouts. We're in May. It's producing Brussels sprouts from last year. Those weren't on there last year, so yeah, pretty nice. What I might do is let it grow like a little bit more, and I take these leaves from the Brussels sprouts and I will dehydrate them, and it'll make a really nice greens powder for smoothies, or I like to add it to, nobody knows, but I add it to my recipes, because I usually do recipes on the fly and add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's a perfect thing to do. Great way to get some good nutrients in your diet. So what else do we have? We're talking about soil and such. So yeah, we do prepare the ground, and we use a walk-behind tractor. And we also have another fork that we put into the ground to give the nice aeration into the soil. So we try to do almost no dig as possible, because we don't want to mess up what's in there, but we also want to make sure that there's enough room for everything to grow. Over here where the garlic is, this is kind of cool. You can see our garlic here. I'm gonna kind of walk through it. We've also put hay. Can you see the hay here? Put hay on the garlic, and it does the same thing as the wood chips. It's just a different way to do it. We currently, we experiment a lot with what we do. We have it many different ways. Let me go through the garlic without stepping on it here. And a really good thing to do to prepare the soil, it's a lot of work to lift up the grass, right? So we've got some cover cloth here that we had for the greenhouse over there. And what we do is we put it out, put some nice bricks on top of it, which is great. And if you see underneath, that is heavy brick. It's going to start to, can you see that? Really don't do well with this. Okay, yeah, it's starting to break down all of that, the grass. So it's just gonna make it a lot easier for us to work with it. It's just kind of a little shortcut, which I love. Anyway, so you can see that we do a lot of different things here for to prepare our beds and that. And what we really need to do is think about our soil health. Preparing the beds is one thing, but looking after our soil health is so important. So when we start everything in the greenhouse, we start with a good soil compound to start everything. And that's fine, but when we come out here, and you can see this here, I'll be doing strawberries later today, so maybe I'll record that. That's kind of cool. I'm so excited to be doing strawberries. But what we really need to do is we need to put nitrogen into the ground, because we don't have nitrogen in the ground, then our plants don't have anything to nourish them, right? They have whatever's left over from last year, and a lot of times I'll just leave, I'll leave stuff in there. There's nutrients in there, but we need to put nutrients into the soil, and that's the big thing. And pulling weeds is a big job. So we're gonna go into the greenhouse this way. I just love this. So I'm gonna show you what we use for soil. Now we also have and I'll show you, we buy triple mix and we get it delivered, and we will put that triple mix on our beds as well. But this is what we start with. And we do get the Pro Mix. We get the nice professional grade Pro Mix, because this has everything you need in it. And I don't really fertilize unless I absolutely need to. I can put crushed up eggshells, whatever I have left, because now we're plant-based and there's no eggshells to use anymore. So you can put some Epsom salts and water on your tomatoes, which will really, really help. And I'm sure that all of these great ideas are also living somewhere on the internet, but you really need to have good soil is what I'm really telling you. So it does depend on where you start. If you just took dirt from the ground and started to put your seeds in it, it might not have everything that it needs, right? So in the greenhouse, what we have used 5 of these bags, 5 of these huge bags of Pro Mix, which has everything we need in it. If you have compost, if you have peat moss, anything else that you can add to the soil, it's going to be great. Now, my stepson brought over all I wanted for Mother's Day was pallets. I realize how ridiculous that might sound to some people, but for me, that was just what's hard to come by right now. I mean, it's really expensive, so to be able to get some pallets, you can hear Andrew working over there, which is great. You get some pallets, great. So here they are. Now, I'm going to need more than 3, but this is going to be a project that I'm going to keep working on. So basically, I'm making an open square with these 3 pallets. I'm going to put my compost in there. Now, compost, it does so many wonderful things. I'm going to be using it in the beds and such. So eventually I want 3 bays of compost, and I'm going to cover it over, and I'll do another video about it. But what you do is you cover it over with like a tarp, and you add water. So let's just take a look there. So what we have right now, as I'm taking you around and walking, what we have right now is we do have a compost bin, and I love it. I'm out here all the time putting things in it. But here's our compost bin right now. And there's stuff all over it, of course, as I'm showing you. But inside, that's growing beautifully. And it's a nice black one. So I'm gonna probably see what I can do with that shortly. I'd like to put some of that compost into the herb beds that we have here that I've been working on. It's just so much to do. I don't even know how we decide what we're gonna do. Anyway, I'm gonna show you the triple mix, and we've probably used 3/4 of this pile of triple mix. And triple mix has basically everything you need. If you're gonna put in a garden bed in your home, in your backyard or front yard or wherever you're gonna put it, get some triple mix. It's wonderful. Even if you want to get some more compost, you can do that. Now they used to, pre-COVID, they had, in our municipality, you could go to, basically you could go and take your recycling bins and fill them up with compost. And that was always a treat for us, because we'd go everywhere we possibly could. We'd make like a tour of it. We're on the compost tour. Anyway, we absolutely loved it, but we can produce more compost on our own. That's what we're gonna do. So here's the pile, and we've covered it over so it doesn't get wet, because guess what? It's really heavy when it's wet. So yeah, that is that is everything to do with what we do. We actually, I forgot to mention that we did do biochar, and you can look up biochar, but it's pretty amazing. We don't have chickens anymore, so we don't do it. But basically, we have a fire. Yes, there's usually a fire always going because we have so much so much brush and stuff to use up. But what we would do, Andrew was amazing at this actually. We'd have the fire. We would smother the fire in like a little barrel thing, right? And we put all the sand around it to cover it up. And then the next day we'd come back and we'd have basically charcoal. And then we'd take that charcoal and put it into the chicken, into our hen house, right? And the hen house, we would, it would cut down on the smell, and it just made things so much nicer in there for them. But then when they would poop on it, it gave it nutrients, right? And so we would take that, which is now called biochar because it's going to hold all those nutrients in it. We would then put that, and there's probably still some in the ground over here that I can show you. Yeah, we would take that and put it on our beds right here, and that's putting more nutrients into the soil, so it's using it that way. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and this is what we're up to. Take care.